Hi there, my name is Emily Ethier, and this is my muscle presentation lab for Bio 230 at Los Angeles Pacific University. Today I'll be talking about a specific muscle group within the body, and I'll be showing and directing it on my little skeleton. Now, I know that skeletons do not have muscle groups, but I'm going to do my best to kind of paint the picture of what it would look like and give you more of a physical description of where your muscles and tendons kind of lie. So, we're going to talk today about the thigh muscles. So your thigh is probably the biggest bone in your body, is your femur, and your skeleton is like the baseline and foundation of your physical structure. So your skeleton holds your structure. So why not use it to describe where things are? So this is where your thigh is. Everybody's got it. So your thigh actually continues within like your pelvic muscles as well. So this whole section right here, this is your thigh, from your knee, from like where your knee begins to where your thigh begins, or to where your pelvis begins. So that's an important note. These muscles, so like when it comes to muscles in general, muscles provide movement, skeletons provide structure. So that's an important thing to be able to note. Tendons connect muscles to the bone, so this is creating like the skeletal muscles. So there's like different layers of muscle. But within the thigh, there are 3 sets of muscles in general. So as it comes to the hamstring muscle, hamstring is located posteriorly, so to the back, where this section would be, kind of like this lower area. So if you bend like this is where your hamstring would be, right at the back. And then there's the quadricep muscles, which is located anteriorly, so in the front. Right here, this area right here, that's where your quad is. This is where your hand, sir. Sorry, this is where your hamstring would be in the back and your quad would be in the front. And then your abductor muscle. Abductor muscles are located inside of your leg, so they kind of pull the whole thigh together. Your prime movers of your thigh would be your gluteus maximus. So your gluteus maximus actually goes all the way up to where your buttocks is, so it's posteriorly in the back, and this is the section it would be in. So it'd be going up this way and kind of wrapping thinly to the side and then up this way. So it kind of forms a little bit of like an L shape, or like an upside down L, so like that, but a little bit thicker right here. So that your thigh, the thing that extends your thigh when you are running, when you're walking, would be the muscle in your gluteus maximus, and that's like the prime mover of the thigh. The thigh abduction would be your gluteus medius, or that's located at the top of the gluteus maximus near the back. So your gluteus maximus wraps this way, kind of wraps around this pelvis area and goes thinly to the side of your thigh. But your gluteus medius is actually located right at the top over here. So it's located more on like the inner part of your gluteus maximus, but that is what helps you kind of have this abduction kind of moment. So when you're extending, or when you're like accelerating or you're moving, like if you're running, that kind of muscle like pinches to be able to like extend and abduct as time goes on. Then the thigh flexin is I'm gonna say this wrong, iliopsis. It's located at the rear of near the gluteus maximus, but so the gluteus medius is located in the back to medially, but the iliopsis is located actually anteriorly inward. So that's located kind of like at the front end of where the gluteus medius would be. Your thighs and all your muscles have different, what are they called? Synergous muscles, agnous muscles, and antagonous muscles. So your hamstrings would be, your hamstrings that are located posteriorly to you, or would be called the agnous muscles. So those are the things that are located, that like help you like extend and move. And then your antagonous muscles will be your quadrants. So your quadrants are at the front, so you've got one type of muscle in the back, one type of muscle in the front. All of these are necessary to help you kind of move and slide to be able to extend your leg and have this movement within your thigh. A lot of people think that the quadrant quadriceps are actually a lot stronger than hamstrings. Like when athletes, you hear a lot that athletes who run have like pulled hamstrings like very easily because it seems like a very thin kind of muscle, and the tendons around it seem very thin. I know for myself, I played soccer like all of my life, and it was always like stretch your hamstrings, but it wasn't stretch your quads, because your quads just have like a thicker muscle, so you don't really hear about people necessarily pulling their quad or tearing their quad. It does happen, don't get me wrong, but I think that the idea for a lot of athletes that run or use those kinds of muscles often is that the hamstring is more susceptible to be broken or snapped. So that is something that is interesting because it is located like near the back. It's an anagenous muscle, and anjonas muscle, can't say words, agonist, I can't even say it, agonist muscle, and then your quads are an antenageous muscle, so that's just helpful to understand. A disease that actually like affects this muscle group or just all muscle groups in general is ALS. So ALS is a nervous system disease that weakens muscles. So your nerves break down, your nerves start to break down within like ALS, and then that reduces your functionality in the muscles that they supply. So basically your muscles start to twitch and it weakens your limb, and just kind of deteriorates your muscle as time goes on. It's a very painful disease, but no one really knows why it happens. So it's something that when your muscles are all together, like there's different stacks of muscles wrapped within your skeletal system. So it's not just bone, but it's like you have tendons, you have muscles, you have nerves, and they all kind of slide together here, and they all kind of fit like a puzzle. So with ALS, if your muscles are continuously rubbing against each other and creating friction and moving apart and deteriorating as time goes on, the functionality of those muscles isn't necessary anymore, because it's not providing you with any sort of movement structure because your nerves are deciding how you're moving. So it's just really painful, and it's really hard to understand, and it's really hard to control, and no one really knows the cause of it. Medical attention is necessary for ALS, and getting medication and getting just kind of like the stance of a doctor who's able to help you with that. But yeah, so that is the thigh muscle, and that is just a brief synopsis of what the thigh muscle does, and is helpful for you. We talked about like what's necessary for thigh extension, for thigh abduction, for thigh flexion, which is thigh extension, and the prime mover is the gluteus maximus, located near the rear. Thigh abduction is the gluteus medius, located at the top of the gluteus maximus, near the back. And then for thigh flexion, the iliopsoas. I will take also anybody correcting me in that, because I know I didn't say it right. But that's located on the anterior end of the posterior medius, so near the front. Remember that hamstrings are your agonist muscles, quadrants are your antenageous muscles, so front, back. And then ALS is a disease that does not benefit the muscle groups and actually can very much deteriorate your muscles over time. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.